Last Thursday at 12:44 in the afternoon, the Muskingum University Admissions Department received a phone call from an anonymous caller saying there is a bomb threat on campus. Students, faculty, and staff evacuated the campus and weren't able to return until Friday morning. This is a special report on Orbit TV 9. I'm Christine Holmes. As of this afternoon, Muskingum University Chief of Police Daniel Vincent says he worked with the Ohio Department of Homeland Security and the New York Police Department to investigate the location of the call. According to Vincent, the call came from an Asian food market in Flushing, Queens, New York. He says that there are many variables that play into finding the person who initiated the phone call, and the caller has not yet been identified.
They checked with the market. It's a very large Asian market with very many extensions for that phone number. Also, they said that the customers have access to that telephone, so it was going to be almost impossible to find out who made the call.
Muskingum University President Ann Steele says although the campus community acted admirably, even so, a bomb threat or any other emergency of that severity should not be taken lightly.
This is a bomb threat is a felony level offense punishable by prison time. This occurrence is now in the hands of the Department of Homeland Security for full investigation, and Muskingum will seek punishment to the full extent of the law.
Thursday's bomb threat was Muskingum's first evacuation and tested the Muskingum Emergency Text Alert System. Associate Dean of Students, Susan Warwick, says she thought students were very cooperative throughout the process. She said students sensed the urgency of the situation and got out fast.
Students were very compliant, very respectful, and very responsible, and I think they could identify that it was an urgent request that was being made of them, and they just all moved very, very fast.
The student life staff went to each residence hall to notify students of the evacuation, and by 2 o'clock the campus was evacuated. Volunteers from the physical plant shuttled students without rides or places to go to John Glenn High School, where they remained for a few hours. Dean of Students Janet Heaterbass talked to students that were housed at the high school about the process for searching for the bomb.
They say it could take 4 to 6 hours to clear the campus. They're going to start with the rec center in John Glenn so we can at least move you back down to campus to hang out.
Once law enforcement was contacted, the Muskingum County Emergency Management Association came onto the scene to oversee the search. Director of Muskingum County EMA, Bo Keck, stated that even though this is a threat, they took normal procedure.
We've set up an emergency operating center here at the police department. We have representatives from all the emergency agencies here so that we can make our decisions in the EOC.
Students were eventually housed for the night in various places off campus. The Red Cross provided snacks and water for the evacuees. Muskingum faculty, staff, and community members accommodated students for the night, providing dinner and a place to sleep. Students who lived off campus or lived close to the university also took in people who had nowhere to go. Campus reopened on Friday at 6:30 in the morning and classes resumed as normal. Later Friday afternoon, President Steele sent out an email confirming that the campus was clear and no bomb was found. Muskingum Emergency Text Alert System has the primary form of notification for the Muskingum community. Meta subscribers were first alerted of the bomb threat and evacuation through a Meta text at 1:18 p.m. and at 4:44 p.m. Instructions for campus reopening were sent through Meta. However, not everyone received the important texts for various reasons. Some students do not receive text messages or have cell phones, and others had expired Meta subscriptions. Either way, there was a lack of communication for those who did not receive the Meta alerts. Susan Warwick emphasizes the importance of renewing Meta subscriptions when they run out and signing up for Meta if account does not already exist.
But I would just encourage students that if you receive a message from the Meta Alert system on your text message that says your account's going to expire, you have to take action and go into the Meta system and reactivate it so that your expiration date is continued.
Steele explains that everyone has to receive a Meta text to be notified of an emergency situation. The goal is for a majority of people to receive the text and spread the news by word of mouth to those who were not alerted of the situation. She thinks this was executed on Thursday.
That once people understood there was a meta alert, it worked exactly as it should.
We are arranging transportation for people to go off campus who don't have,
Absolutely.
The situation on Thursday was especially stressful to students who came from other countries. President Steele witnessed one student's anxiety as she realized she did not have any of her documentation on hand. One of the biggest concerns during Thursday's bomb threat evacuation was where international and out-of-state students would stay for the night. Valerie Smith, Muskingum University's Director of International Students and Special Programs, made sure these students had somewhere to go. Physical Plant bused students to John Glenn High School. For the international students who didn't find shelter with friends, the Moorhead Estate was available to them. According to Smith, there were a total of 21 students housed at this location. The president of Chinese Club, student organization, Defan Lee, took action and made sure all international students were accounted for.
I was really proud of him because in a time of crisis, he wasn't thinking about himself and where he would go for safety. He was calling people and contacting them and making sure that those other students from his background, his nationality were okay and had a place to go. And he was arranging for them to go to other places off of campus with friends.
Smith says some international students aren't familiar with situations as fire drills and emergency evacuation situations. She made sure to explain the situation and the severity of what could happen. Smith says she was happy to see that local students were stepping up and helping those who were far from home.
The other thing that was really neat was we had a lot of Americans step forward that said, hey, I'll take 3 international students home with me, that came to the John Glenn High School and said, do you have more students that need to go somewhere?
One of the students that came to the high school to house international students was junior Matt Allen of Zanesville. The students he helped were confused about the circumstances, but were appreciative of his hospitality.
We were just sitting there and waiting for people to come and bring us lunch, and it was boring, and it was also confusing because we didn't know what was going on, and no one could say if this is a serious threat or not.
Many students expressed themselves online on Facebook and Twitter. Complaints varied from someone calling in a threat to getting back on campus for Friday classes. One Muskie tweeted, "Evacuating campus, making everyone go home, and reopening at 6:30 the next morning, forcing kids to come back is ridiculous." Another Muskie said, "Muskingum University, where a bomb threat won't even cancel classes." On Facebook, a student posted, "But classes will still begin at 8 a.m. as usual." Many students found out about the bomb threat via text, but only after they were in the process of evacuating the campus. Junior Josh Rogoff felt that the meta text was not sent out fast enough to students.
A little upset and scared. There was a couple things going on in my head beforehand that contributed to that, but I calmed down once I thought about it a bit more, and people helped me. There were some people who took me to a house, taking some kids in, and it was fine after that, but it was really pissed off that I didn't know anything.
As for the choice to have classes the following day, Junior Mallory McNabb feels that classes should not have resumed.
I feel like we shouldn't have had class today, mostly because the fact that students weren't able to access their clothes, other necessities, including their notes. I know I had 2 exams today, and if I hadn't had my notes, I wouldn't have been prepared for either of them.
Despite some of the comments made by students, many have shared positive thoughts about the reaction of students, faculty, staff, and community. Students were appreciative of both being housed by friends, faculty, and staff members of the university and churches. Even though social media outlets were the place to vent for students, many students had positive words to say about how well the community worked together to clear campus and spend the night away from the dorms. One student tweeted, "Every day is a great day to be a Muskie, but today I feel particularly proud." On Facebook, one student posted, "I love my school, and I'm glad I'm back." Sophomore John Webb saw this situation as an example of how the people that make up Muskingum are more than just people who are on the same campus.
It was just a testament to how close the Muskingum community is, that, you know, we might have our quarrels, we might be, you know, busy with all of our work and all of our things that, you know, we are boggled down with, especially with it being the end of the semester. But like how in a moment of crisis, all of that goes away and everyone just comes together. It was really meaningful.
First year Olivia Brown was with a friend finishing lunch at the dining hall. From her perspective, she witnessed the student body and university faculty and staff working well together and not letting the potential frightening threat control the evacuation.
I think that for the most part, they reacted very well. You know, we worked very much as a team as far as the university in trying to get people out, trying to get people safe, trying to make sure that they had somewhere to go, and there was very little of what I saw panic on as far as the students went. They seemed to be handling it very much like adults.
Orbit Media News will continue to follow this story and bring you any breaking developments. Follow us on social media to get the latest updates first. Thanks for joining us.